a 3 or a 4 being accepted as credit shouldn't be for biology for majors. And if any credit were to be given, maybe it should be specific as to biology for non-majors or any biology that wouldn't lead to upper division courses.
Says we would like to stress that consideration should be made distinguishing majors and non-majors.
Yes.
The legislation is not included in the agendas.
Personal political legislation, and we'll be talking about formal wording about what you legislate, and it seems like I'm something like that.
After I
And do the okay, well, she's working on that. Are there any other questions or comments?
Yeah, I just had a couple actually. Music theory, according to College Board, UT does accept that. Maybe you could explain.
That's also a major, non-major divide. The university accepts, I believe, it's a 3 for non-music majors, but for music majors, it accepts.
Okay, so this,
Going back to the basics, we're not prescribing that the university accept 3 on the music theory for everybody, or even a 3 on biology for everybody. We're just advocating for the review of the process.
Okay. Do you know of any university committees that do review the process frequently?
As an independent agency review, the agency scores, the ExxonMobil Foundation reviewed College Board results and they made their single largest donation in history of $125 million to a Texas nonprofit organization that works to enhance the number of students who pass the exams in this state. And Representative Branch is working, and one of the only things in higher education in Illinois is the funding for AP schools. As far as independent reviews of AP in College Board go, the 2-year study done by ExxonMobil was the most successful defined as a private, non-governmental organization, and they found that it far exceeded most other educational priorities and was the most cost-effective way to find to invest in.
I was trying to refer to kind of within the university, internal organizations that relook at the relationship between the AP score and the curriculum they're striving for. So do you know if they've been reviewed and they're...
Well, obviously they've been reviewed because they've accepted. Some of them have either been accepted or rejected, so there was a review. I don't know if they're up for any review. I would assume that it's not something that's just done once and forgotten about. That's not a very convincing response.
One of your results statements says how many departments have different or fail to apply different restrictions based on whether you're a major or a non-major. My understanding of that is that, are you saying that a department, say, like chemistry, could say that for chemistry majors we cannot accept a score of 3, but for non-majors you do?
I believe that's all in practice, or some.
I guess my understanding is that at this point, the university policy for AP scores is universal. Regardless of what your major is, you still can get the same scores. My understanding in terms of music theory course right now is that a 4 or 5 is accepted, however you get a non-major course. My concern is that you take this like a nice clean policy and you start having, well, if you're a biology major, you get this is your range. But if you're not a biology major, you have very clean what your major is.
I only went to University of Texas for 1 year, but I think they're great at making policies complicated. And if that means giving more credit to non-majors and expanding the number of students who get that credit, I think that's something worth exploring, even if it does make the process a little bit more complicated. As a communications major, I don't see how getting biology credit would adversely affect my review plan for time that I it would only enhance the time that I graduate. For a biology major, it could be something detrimental. And if they want to make it a different credit, I don't see it would be detrimental to their degree.
Sorry, let me try to get this. So,
Can you please repeat that?
oh. Hello? Oh, okay. So I guess what I would say is I would prefer a system that's much like how we have for the current AP language courses, where depending on, they sort of enforce that major, non-major thing, not by having a distinct policy based on department, but by having the different, depending on what your score is, you get different course credits. So if you get a 2 or a 3, you get, either a non-major credit, a course that's for non-majors, or you only get a smaller amount of credit. Whereas if you get a 4 or 5, you do get that major credit, or you get an entire year of it.
For the foreign languages, I believe there's more
As chief clerk at large, French language major, how close do you take taking courses depending on how your specific degree is set up? So for French language, you get 3 semesters credit of lower division and 1 credit of lower division. However, with the change of those Spanish and French are set up to only 5 and 6-hour courses. I don't know how they put it out, but that's one rationale.
And there are also placement institutions that based on language skills.
Do you have an update on friendly amendment? Okay, so here's the friendly amendment.
I don't like how
Further acceptance scores of 3 or more with the AP biology exam. And necessarily for major credit. Because then it sounds far too restrictive.
Okay, so you're on something?
I'm not upset.
Okay, are you offering this as a formal amendment now? Okay, we'll now move into discussion and debate of this amendment. Jeff?
I'd like to make a point of clarification here. So, as I understand, the point of this bill is for a review of all AP scores, not specifically bio, music theory, etc. So, I think that this is getting a little bit too specific for the intent. I really agree with the idea of having a review for majors and non-majors classes. However, I think that with the intent of this bill, administrators will see this as too specific and, I guess, pointed.
I agree.
I would disagree with that. By the fact that you're specifically setting out that these 4 courses or these 4 exams should have their exam scores extended to 3 to 5, it's got this weird middle ground of that's kind of prescriptive, but I also feel like it's not all the way thought out, because it could be interpreted that we want to give major credit for those who score a 3 on the biology exam, which it would be detrimental to their education.
The reason we chose the examples we did is because they are examples. I mean, we could have done a comprehensive, exhaustive list, but I think it wouldn't have enhanced our
One of the resolve statements does go into asking the university to review their item, what SAT score, SAT2 scored in in comparison to our institutions and determine whether or not where we stand and whether or not it's where we stand in scores. Again, this is the score test product of this where we compare our tests.
Business council actually. Hello. Business council actually discussed the point that ultimately, I think in the resolution it's already implied that if you're not a major in the department, then you can claim the credits as is, and these are just examples. And if you did ultimately join UT as that major, the department would have to opt in. And I think I like the phrasing as is in the resolution. I know people can't see it, but phrasing is actually opt in. Departments have to opt into this policy rather than opt out of it, and I like that because that means that the status quo state holds within each department until they opt in. So I think that we don't have to get too specific. If natural sciences or biology is definitely going to stick with their 5, then this recommendation is probably not going to change their mind, and we don't have to delve into the details, and they can opt out, or they can opt in or choose not to opt in.
Anyone else? Is there a motion to close discussion and debate on?
Motion to close discussion debate.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor of closing discussion and debate, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, discussion debate is now closed for the full amendment. Is there a motion to vote this amendment? Motion to vote. Is there a second? Okay, all those in favor of adding this formal amendment as seen here, please say aye. All those opposed, please say nay. All those abstaining? Okay, the formal amendment has been declined. We'll move back into discussion and debate of SRT 16. Barbara. Is there a second? Second. Motion, all those in favor of ending discussion and debate, please say aye. All those opposed? Okay, discussion and debate has been closed. Is there a motion to vote on SRT 1516? Motion to vote on SRT. All those in favor of SRT 16, please say aye. All those opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. SRT 16 passes. Thank you. Moving on to new business, I'll invite the authors of SRT 17 to the front.
Hello. Hi, so this is SR 217, and this really started as the 4 of us got together looking at the text alert system following the September 28th incident. We realized that there were some issues and students hadn't gotten texts, or there was some confusion because of that. So we started looking at what our peer institutions are doing and what the university's policy is to kind of see how we could change it to better inform more students. So what we found out was that the university has an opt-out text alert system, which means on your emergency contact page, you go in and you put your phone number and your carrier, and it will automatically be pulled from there unless you check the little box that says, I don't want to receive text alerts. So every semester after the 12th class day, our system of numbers to be texted in the event of an emergency is updated. On September 28th, that didn't happen, so that hadn't happened yet. So students were getting, students who were old students were getting texts, students at other universities who had been here for some reason were getting texts, and students who had updated their information hadn't gotten a text yet. So, so it was only for students who had updated their phone numbers and providers. So if you were to get, a new cell phone or a new provider, then your text wouldn't be getting to you in the right way. And after talking with the Office of Safety and ITS, they realized, and they agreed that for students in classrooms, text alerts are the most effective way of contacting students.